Alright, hello there YouTube, this is Mr. Pokemon 907 and welcome to episode 3 of my Mario Kart 7 slash Mario Kart 7th EH, 7th place, 7th game, 150cc playthrough. Alright, so the previous episode was the Flower Cup, that was episode 2. Now this episode I'll be taking on the Star Cup, alright? Let's get this all focused here for this. Nice, perfect. A bright white screen that I could perfectly balance my lighting with. Nice. Nice. Very, very efficient for me here. Alright, so the Grand Prix and moving on to the Star Cup 150cc. So the previous episode I went ahead and chose Toad. Now I'm going to mix it up again, so that the AI algorithm of Skynet cannot too easily balance self out to, and adapt for conquer against me here. Alright, let's see. These wheels look to be working well for just about every vehicle, huh? Interesting, right? And the paraglider, the eggmobile, and this is Yoshi, very fitting. So let's go on ahead and begin this. Just about 1 minute in, and I'm already going through. Right, nice. Graphics in this game, these Mario Kart 7 Nintendo 3DS, is very impressive for the time this launched as well. 2010, I definitely say it was the best year that this planet had. That's something that I know for a fact. The movies, the video games, the music, everything that launched around that time were perfect. The Nintendo 3DS, the system, the console this is played on, it was created in 2010, and it was, you would say, manufactured. It was like launched, then copyrighted, all that in 2011. Yeah. So 2010 is, this is technically a 2010 system, 2010 system, and this is up to this day the most awesome system you could hold in your household, believe it or not. Other systems have graphics, maybe ports like the Nintendo Switch from older games and stuff like that, but this system has just like we have the Nintendo Switch online service, we could play in like Nintendo 64 games, Game Boy Advance games, Super NES, all of those. You can have those running natively on your system. If you've had a 3DS from earlier clock enough that you could have been, you had the chance to buy those from the eShop, they are on your system. Then there's also the teams that you could have bought. Like, they had some really cool Pokemon teams. There was a Rayquaza one, legendaries, some for Solgaleo and Lunala, and very awesome teams. I had like so much of them on my older system. Um, you can modify your system and have all those added on, but I wouldn't encourage that. It's still, these systems are really like, discontinued from the Nintendo servers, and there's a lot more freedom. There's when people, legally take the games that they have. I have so many official cartridges that I could potentially dump. When you call it dump, you mean like get the data from them and have them as like data files and stuff like that. But I'm still, for reasons, I'd encourage people, if you have a system that is not modified, a Nintendo system, I would encourage you to keep it if you can. If is more feasible, is more like, I'd say, even like efficient for you to keep it as a modified system. You could play more games, then go ahead and do so. But especially if you have the legal means to, acquire games, directly from cartridges and stuff like that, and go ahead. But if you can, I would encourage you to keep a system, at least one that is not modified. There's a reason for that. Where this world is going with the digital games and stuff like that, you would be shocked in it nearing days. I'm quite sure. All right, so that's race number, what was that, 1? And now moving on to race number 2. Mario Kart 7 got an update in the 2020s, believe it or not. It was shocking for me too. It was like a kind of recent update even, I'd say. It's 2025. Not too long ago. These games still getting updates and all that. How, why? What? I know, right? Freaking spider was in my view there. See that little black speck that was during the loading screen there? That was a freaking spider. I don't know where it came from. But just got that little guy out of the way as quickly as possible. Alright, so there we go. Hopping. Oh god. Jesus, man. Some CPU just lands and like scoops me up with a freaking green shell. Hell, green shell. Alright. You can hear the sound effect from the propeller under the water and stuff like that. Amazing detail. This game for its time. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Alright. Jesus, come on. Couldn't see. Because of how I have my system here held for this playthrough. I'm like peeping at the screen. I really should have been able to avoid that crab there, but whatevs. Gonna try my best for this lap. Get ahead. One. What was that? I was steering the right way quite so. Come on, watch it, watch it. Make sure not to miss my items. Having defense in Mario Kart is really important. Jesus, 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 you shit. Come on. Send that back. Most likely hitting someone in that narrow path right there. It did actually. The Yoshi just cheered just like that. And whenever you see your character cheering like that, right off the bat, you know that your item struck someone. It worked. In Mario Kart games, all of them, if you use an item somewhere, you drop an item somewhere, then your character just randomly cheers. That means that you got a hit with something. I did somehow know, huh? Alright, so how many coins do I have? 7. You can see it on the bottom, the top right of the bottom screen. I won't be showing that now. Focusing on. I mean, I could risk it if I'm playing on a track that's like a very straight road or something. I'm in the ear. Risk it here. You can see quickly. I've got 9 right now. Oh, fudge. And this is the last lap. Whoa, reflexes and a bit of skill. I would have definitely messed that up. Whoa. Alright. Whoa, okay, so that's the race number 2. Now moving on to race number 3 here. Alright, let's go, let's go. If not for the reflexes and the skill, that would have been terrible. Much more. Amazing track this is. For the system that this is played on, the time it launched, everything. The most impressive to me, and I'm going to be doing that for YouTube as well at some point, I'm thinking about it, Super Mario 3D Land. The graphics in that game are amazing. Like the effects of the, as you're going through the castle, I think that's Bowser's castle at some point. I think that's close to the end of the game. The rain is falling against the castle walls on the outside. Everything looks so freaking real and precise, especially if your 3D turned on. Like what a lot of people, sadly, anyone who has sensitive eyes and the 3D, I'm really sorry for you because you missed out quite a lot. The resolution that the 3DS shows at is very blurry. It's not terrible, but it's very blurry compared to when 3D is turned on. The graphics are not the best resolution and quality unless the 3D is turned on. That's how it always was in the original 3DS. All 3DS systems actually. So those systems that have no 3D, then jeez, like, dang it. That's way is best. The game is actually upscaled to 2 times its original res in when the 3D is turned on, believe it or not. That's when the system is using the majority of its power. And whilst the 3D's on, you're playing, you're seeing it in full quality, in full shine. The freaking castle walls and stuff are gorgeous, I tell you, so detailed. I was gawking at that. I remember you, Jesus, this is gonna be difficult, man. I was gawking at that. This many 3DS games. People speak about the Resident Evil series as well. Resident Evil Revelations proves that Nintendo is not kidding around. The graphics were amazing even on there, so I'm not surprised to hear people freaking out and talking about Requiem and how good it looks on the Nintendo Switch 2. Although it's not even launched yet, people are talking about that. You know, there are going to be a few people who have developer early copies of the game and stuff like that for developer reasons, for review reasons. The game is freaking amazing on there. So Nintendo, including the recent Final Fantasy VII remake demo that is launched on Switch 2. So as early as Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo's been pushing graphics, and a lot of people wouldn't know, maybe because of their health reasons, like I just mentioned. I had no issue with 3D. Like, I could have played that for hours and it did nothing to me. My eyesight. It's just that I'm really, I'm a really, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I'm not low-brained, to be honest. No, like, being disrespectful or anything to the bunch of people, any population counts, right? But I always had a steady hand when playing, and that's what it. I think the new Nintendo 3DS, the system that came after the faster CPU, the second analog on the top right, and stuff like that, it has a feature where it maps your face, that it could actually push the 3D in the direction your face is going, like whilst you're playing, and that wasn't necessary for me because I never had an issue with keeping my hand steady whilst playing and being in the center view of the 3D, even whilst playing heavy games like action heavy games like Super Smash Bros for Nintendo 3DS and stuff like that. I kid you not, I was fine and I enjoyed every game I played. I was seeing them in their full graphical splendor, and yeah, those who've never experienced the 3D, maybe because of health reasons, then too bad for them. Too bad for freaking them, man. All right, so this is the final race already. About 12 minutes in. I'm burning through these cups here, going on through at top speed. Alright, get this jump. Come on, get my item, come on. Yeah, rush up behind me. Rush up behind me now then. That little bitch. Yeah. Don't come back. A little Barbadian feel like, slang and action. Ah, shit. Oh, maybe that was all for good reason. Oh, I would have been in that blast somehow. Oh, shit. Ah. How I'm holding this system and playing. This is, like, really intense. Gotcha? Yes. So, holding these other two. See if I can get a drift boost off. Come on. Come on. Right, really? Come on. Come on. Awesome. Okay, send up back. Hop here. Send that back as well and hold this for defense. I know I was saying I was going to hold on to him, but I want some things launched back there. I want some more running up on some items. I want them slowed down as much as I can. That's the thing about this game. You've always got to be thinking about ways to slow down your competition. Like, I could drop this right here. Someone's most likely then going to slip on that, trying to stunt off the edge. I could have dropped another one right there. You drop your items. Like, if you've got banana peels, drop them right by the item boxes. Think wicked. That's the thing about these games. They encourage you for that. And, you'd have less troubles staying ahead of the pack because they're always slipping on some of your items. You leave items at corners, stuff like that. That's what I always did. But I was too much now recent not really doing that. So doing that for the more, especially going forward here. All right. So on to the award ceremony. In about 15 minutes. Not bad. Good stuff. See if I could get a... Nah, I'm gonna leave that there. That's gorgeous. Really and truly. Alright. DK is always riled up. Lakitu was a really good character and the very same setup that I had on all different tires. At some point, I was using a different character, wasn't I? Whatevs. Alright, so 3-star. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed. You can comment as well. No need to be shy there. And that button that says subscribe, it really should be saying follow. All you're doing when you click on that is following. There's no payment necessary for those of you new to this YouTube system. There are too many services online that use that word, so you could easily be misled and think that it's a paid service and not even click on that button and not ever know possibly that it's only a follow button. So I'm telling you here, there's no payment necessary. It's free of charge, and YouTube really should get to work on changing the name of that freaking button. It should not be called subscribe. I do believe that. All right, so yeah, until good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whenever and wherever you're watching. Until next episode, thank you for watching. This has been Mr. Pokemon 907. Stay tuned.